Good morning. What a beautiful fall morning. A little chilly, but the sun is shining and it's gorgeous. We've had a little rain. I'd like to begin today by thanking someone. Yesterday, our finance committee met as we began the task of putting together our budget, reviewing our expenses and incomes for this past year, and preparing a budget for next year. And I'd like to thank Susan Johnson, who is our treasurer. She has done an amazing job. This job has turned into far more than she ever could have imagined when she said, yes, I'll do that. Especially this year, in the fact that we had so many checks to write and to keep track of as we remodeled our Rose Cottage and got that into operation. And she just has done an amazing job. And with the gifts, the tithes that people send in, she asked me to remind everybody, if you would like to share your financial gift, P.O. Box 265, Cotati, Church of the Oaks, 94931. Just put it in the mail. She checks the mail every week, and your gift will find the right place. So again, from all of us, Susan, thank you very, very much for a job way above and beyond anything I'm sure you could have imagined as treasurer. So thank you. Today I'm going to talk about something that most of you probably don't want to hear. I'm going to encourage you to listen anyway. But in lieu of that, I'm going to start off with a little humorous thing I heard last night on television. I was watching country music, and one of the performers said, you know, we think things are bad right now, but stop and think. 25, 30 years from now, the people running our government and running our businesses are going to be these young people that are now being homeschooled by pot-smoking day drinkers. Oh, well, I thought it was funny. So anyway, Wednesday was Veterans Day. And for 20 years, every Memorial Day, every Veterans Day, I bring this flag in. Veterans Day was started in Europe in 1918 on November 11th at 11 a.m., the minute the armistice was signed for World War I. It became Veterans Day, I think, in 1957 in this country. They changed the date to the third Tuesday in October for a while. People didn't care for that at all, so it went back to November 11th. And it's a day that was set up to honor especially the people who were killed in our wars, but to also honor everyone who served in the armed forces of our countries. I don't know if I can do this anymore. That's my father's flag. Very special to me. But when I think about what that means, I have a lot of trouble with that. I've had trouble for 50 years, 51 years actually, since I got out of the United States Air Force And for 50 years, I have tried to rationalize war, especially Vietnam. We look at these world wars, all wars, and we watch countries who diabolically slaughter each other's human beings. And the minute one of them surrenders, submits to domination, has had enough people killed, all of a sudden, the war is over. Then both of these societies who were slaughtering each other last week start building schools and hospitals and buildings and setting up food processes. And I don't understand. I just don't understand. But after contemplating this dichotomy for 50 years, I'm going to say what I'm going to say this morning. I think that humanity is engaged in the final world war. I think that the universe has given us COVID-19 as kind of a humbling thing, a thing for us to realize that we're all together in this. No one is exempt because of how much money or power they have. Just human beings. And Mother Nature, well, she's telling us that you can't just take and take and take and rape and plunder. You can't do it. You can't just keep killing stuff off and expect to survive. My friends, I believe that humanity is in a war with itself, its own ignorance, its own stupidity. We are constantly have psychopaths throughout the world, these leaders who believe that violence and force and killing and slaughtering solves a problem, brings about peace. It makes no sense. So much of the world is using what the neurologists call the lizard brain, fight or flight, period. There's no critical thinking. There's a lady named Sally Kahn, who's a broadcaster on MSNBC. I'm sure some of you have listened to her. She recently wrote a book. And the book is called The Opposite of Hate, The Rehabilitation of Humanity. And just off the cuff, I'm sure most of it would say, oh, that's simple. The opposite hate of love is love. She doesn't look at it quite that way. I encourage you to read her book, The Opposite of Hate. She thinks that the opposite of hate is connection. I don't think, as brainwashed and as injured psychologically as most human beings are, that maybe worldwide, we have the ability to actually love everyone. It's a great thought if we could get there. But realistically, I don't know. But to connect with each other, with all of our different opinions and different ideas and different customs, to be able to connect in ways that ensure health, safety, to combat starving, to bring about a different consciousness, a consciousness of caring and nurturing and acceptance, rather than a consciousness of war and violence and fear and hate and domination. I think humanity has been dead wrong for 10,000 years. We're just 180 degrees out of our concept of our purpose in life. The opposite of fear is connection. I hope we all can ponder that some this week, next week, and the week after, and the year after. I've read this little couple paragraphs, long paragraph, to you a few times in the past. And I think it ties in when you think about connection. It's called Nature is Speaking. Some call me nature. Others call me Mother Nature. I've been here for over 4.5 billion years. 22,500 times longer than you. I don't really need people, but people need me. Yes, your future depends on me. When I thrive, you thrive. When I falter, you falter, or worse. But I've been here for eons. I have fed species greater than you. I have starved species greater than you. My oceans, my soil, my flowing streams, my forests, they can all take you or leave you. How you choose to live each day, whether you regard or disregard me, doesn't really matter to me, one way or the other. Your actions will determine your fate, not mine. I am nature. I will go on. I am prepared to evolve. Are you? My friends, we live in a world that is, an example of global psychopathy, greed and hate and fear. The only thing that can change that is you and me and millions of other people. Veterans Day, where we honor and remember our veterans who have died, to our veterans who have served. Quite frankly, folks, I don't think I'll see it, but I hope my kids live to see a day where there is no such thing as Veterans Day. It's barbaric. Today, how much real honoring do we do? It's turned into just another day when Walmart has some great sales. A world worships a God called economy. Doesn't make any difference how many people have to die as long as the economy is strong. It's an old Greek philosophy, divide and conquer. Well, now it's divide and profit. our country is so divided, so injured. We have to attempt to cure this illness. It's an illness of thinking. It's an illness of actions. It's an illness of lack of loving consciousness. Can there be a day, can there really be a day where people work together to solve problems instead of slaughter each other for greed and for hate? I don't know if we'll ever love each other, but we can certainly connect with each other. We can certainly connect with nature instead of just raping and plundering and taking and destroying. This final world war, I think, is very real. Global warming. We're either going to have to connect with this earth or cease to exist. Just like this. Veterans Day. How about a day of celebrating humanity? A day of celebrating connection. We've got Earth Day, we've got other holidays, we've got Christmas, we've got so many holidays. How about a day of contemplation, a day of preponderance about the purpose and the future of humanity, of nature? Folks, we've got some real critical thinking to do. We've got some real changing to do. And we can do it. And hopefully create a consciousness in our world that allows us to continue to survive. Or we can turn on the game and let it go to hell. It's our choice. And so it truly is.